Boys, Google Veo 3 is destroying the internet right now. Honestly, anyone above the age of 40 is absolutely cooked right now because they just believe anything they see on the internet. They're going to be asking questions like, I didn't know giraffes could dive off a diving board, and they'll probably believe it. Now, since I last uploaded my last Google Veo 3 video, I have, kid you not, generated hundreds and hundreds of videos and tried out loads and loads of prompts. So I thought I'd make a little crash course on everything that you need to know going into Google Veo 3 so you don't waste any of your credits, because credits can be expensive. Honestly, once you understand the basic fundamentals of these prompts and how they work, you'll be able to generate these videos you want like 10 times faster than you could before. Yeah, I'm going to put timestamps down below so you can just skip to each section. But honestly, if you're just getting to Google Veo 3, you probably want to watch the whole thing. There's a lot of gems in this video that will save you a lot of credits and a lot of headaches. Let's stop the waffling and dive straight into the video. Okay, first up, let's talk about street interviews. Now, I've seen a lot of these videos go viral on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, but I'm also seeing a lot of bad edits and a lot of people that just clearly don't understand how to prompt using Veo 3 to create these interviews. So basically, at first, you want to set the scene. So for this example, I'm saying an executioner stood next to his stand in a busy Tudor street. He's wearing classic medieval wares and he's holding a sword. So it's a bit of information about the actual scene and what's going on. And then because we've named the characters in this setup bit, you can actually then say what you want them to say. You can even remove this part entirely and just kind of get Veo 3 to come up with something. But for the best results and for them to say something funny that's going to get you the most views, I suggest you come up with this part yourself. So on this example, I've just put the reporter says, "Do you enjoy your work?" The executioner is happy. This part's also important because I'm showing an emotion of how I want the executioner to react to the interview. It's honest work and no one talks back. You know, it's just a fun little clip like this.
Enjoy your work?
Oh yeah, it's honest work and no one talks back.
You can get really creative with these street interviews. Like you've got Star Wars ones, historian ones, you've just got normal everyday ones. And as you can see from the prompt, they're not complicated. You just really need to make sure you set the scene very clearly in this first sentence. And then from that, you can just build upon it. All right, next up, subtitles in your videos. This is a big problem with Veo 3 right now, where it will just randomly generate you subtitles. And it's quite annoying because it does take up a lot of the screen. And to be honest, they're not even the nicest looking subtitles, so you don't really want these on your videos. Now, there are some workarounds that you can do with the prompts. For example, when you're actually writing the prompt, you shouldn't put what they're saying in quotations, or in the prompt, you can actually just say no subtitles. And sometimes these two things work, but it's not consistent. Like Google Veo 3 has a mind of its own sometimes. Honestly, the easiest way and the quickest fix is just to go into CapCut, zoom in on the video, and reframe it. Yes, you do lose a bit of the video, but honestly, it looks so much better like this. You don't want those rubbish Google Veo 3 subtitles ruining your stuff.
They said this boat's unsinkable, bro. Like, zero chance.
So next up is fast mode, and I got a lot of stick on my last Google Veo 3 video because I just kind of told you guys to use quality mode, and to be honest, that's because I was still new at using this program as well. The limited testing that I did at the time, I just thought fast mode wasn't that good. Now fast mode, if you don't know, is 1/5 of the cost of quality mode, and to be honest with you, the results are really similar. Now what I've been doing in my workflow is I've been using fast mode to try and test prompts out to see what the actual output is, because the output, the actual scene itself, kind of stays the same whether you use quality or fast mode. So you can test around with fast mode, get the actual atmosphere that you're looking for, and then go into quality mode and then add all the voiceover, knowing that you're going to get the right scene straight away and not have to waste loads of credits. That's how I would use fast mode going forward on Veo 3. Now these fight scenes here was done on fast mode, and you can see that it's okay. It's not as smooth as it would be on quality mode, but it does get the job done. Especially if you're doing videos like the Stormtrooper ones where you don't need audio, I would be generating all my clips in fast mode. Alright, next up, let's talk about the actual position of the camera. This is something that you can change inside Veo 3, and it just gives you some more cinematic flair, gives you more creative decision on how you actually want these videos to go. So for example, you could do close-up shots where you actually get super close to your character and it can flesh out more details. You can then change this prompt a drone shot far away from the character, or the camera pans over the character and looks over at the landscape. A full body shot that'll show you the entire body of the character, which is something I see a lot of you guys struggle with. That is literally all you need to do is type in full body shot and you can see the full character in your videos. This is a very powerful tool, especially if you're trying to create consistency within your videos and a bit more flair. Next up, you can actually tell Veo 3 what type of lens to shoot your videos in, so it will give the effect as if you've shot it with a camera with a certain lens attached. For example, the fisheye lens gives that kind of distorted spherical effect to your videos. For example, let's say you're doing a science video on insects or something, you can ask Veo 3 to do the macro lens, so you can actually get really close-up detail to these insects, and it's something that it'd really struggle understanding if you don't just use the term macro lens. My personal favorite is they shoot it from an iPhone, because that gives it a more realistic look, and it's what a lot of people like seeing when they're scrolling. They like to see realism, they don't like it when it's too fake. So I normally prompt all of my prompts to say shot from an iPhone, but you can also do silly stuff like shot from an infrared camera, and it'll give you something like this. Alright, next let's talk about movie genres. So movie genres is a really good way to tell Veo 3 what type of scene that you're actually wanting to set. Earlier when we was talking about camera movements, you might have seen in the prompt that I said something about a futuristic movie, cyberpunk style genre. That's me basically giving Veo 3 some reference of what the scene wants to look like without me having to prompt every single little detail. For example, I've put in the same prompt of a battle scene. All I've changed to the movie genre. First scene I've put in a medieval genre. As you can see, the prompt has now been engineered to showcase these knights in shields going off in medieval times, fighting each other. But then if I change that movie genre to sci-fi, it completely changes the look of the theme, and we've got these futuristic sci-fi police type of people. All I did was change the movie genre. You can get a lot of different effects from this, and it can honestly be so powerful because you don't have to spend ages prompting the scene and telling it what you want. You can just give it a movie genre and it kind of knows what you want. It's clever like that. Now, just like picking a genre, you can also change the style of the video with animation styles. You can tell it to generate in the normal cinematic style, say for example with a robot, and you get something like this. You know, it just looks like a normal robot sci-fi movie, but then you can actually prompt in Veo 3 to say you want it in the Pixar style, and it will give you something like this. Again, completely changing the style of video you get, the output that you get with one single word. Now, one important thing when it comes to changing the animation style of videos, you want to make sure you put this at the start of your prompt. Prompt hierarchy is really important when it comes to styles, so you want it to make sure that you include, for example, that Pixar one, Pixar animation at the start, and then write the rest of your prompt of what you actually want the video to be. Otherwise, you're going to get varied results, and sometimes you might not get the animation that you're actually looking for. Next, this is more of a did you know sort of thing, but there's actually a part of Google Veo 3 called Google Flow, and you can go to something called Flow TV, and you can see what other people are doing. For example, this guy's done something with cheese, like this crazy cheese world, and you can actually see what prompt they've used to generate these videos. And as you can see, this guy's basically made a short film with cheese, and it shows you every single prompt that he's done to create this. I find this really helpful when coming up with ideas for videos, or just to see how some people have done some prompt, because the more ideas and stuff you get off other people, the more ideas you can put into your own videos. And honestly, there are some really good ones on Veo 3, so really smart and talented people out there. All right boys, just to finish us off here, how do you actually know what to create on Veo 3, and how do you actually know what's going to perform? Well, the thing is with Veo 3 is things are constantly changing. As you can see here, we've got eating food, which is a big trend at the minute. You know, 640,000 likes. We've got obviously the AI Stormtrooper vlogs. AI vlogs are still quite popular. You've got the ASMR cutting videos, the reporters, you've got historian videos. What I find really interesting, brand new trends, for example, someone's figured out how to prompt these explosion box effects, where it starts as a box and it explodes with whatever style the box is. Even brands are jumping on this now, where you can have like IKEA and stuff jump on it, and people really are getting creative with this. And it's not just these AI videos that are going viral making people money. There's literally AI influencers like this woman here. She is not a real person, she's completely made with AI, and Veo 3 is definitely helping with this. This girl is literally earning thousands of pounds, and she doesn't even exist. She's never been to any of these places. This girl doesn't exist, and it's all happening because of AI. Definitely an exciting but a scary time right now. I'm going to try and see the positive side. I'm going to cover all the best tools on my channel and try and keep you guys informed as well, because it is exciting. If you need any more help with this, check out the Discord, and I'll see you all in the next one.